let's talk about our next coding challenge. It is called as wildcard matching. It is problem number 44 on LeetCode. It is also one of the most popular problems there and frequently asked at a lot of big companies. So let us see how to solve this question and what the question is all about. So we are given with a pattern string P, which needs to be matched against an input string S. P contains lowercase alphabets and wildcard characters. So wildcard characters are of two types. One of them is question mark and the other one is asterisk. Question mark matches any single character, only one character, and that could be anything. While in the case of asterisk, it matches any sequence of characters and the number of characters could be 0, 1, 2, 3 or anything. Let us take some examples. For example, AA is matched against A here. The number of characters here is not same as A and there is no wildcard as well. So there is no match. Second example, we have AA here and it is matched against the pattern asterisk. So this asterisk is going to be acting as two characters. If you remember, it can act as 0 characters, 1 characters, 2 characters, any sequence of characters basically. So here AA can be matched against asterisk and that's a match. Now in this case, we have a question mark. The previous character is A, which is matched against A, and the next character, which is A, is matched against question mark. It could as well have been anything. It could have been B, C, D, anything. A question mark would have matched it. So this is also matched. So this series of problems can be easily solved using dynamic programming, and we'll see how. Before that, let's take another example. Over here we have A, D, C, E, B, and that is matched against this pattern. So now in this pattern you can see this asterisk is acting against these 3 characters, while the first asterisk is acting against no character at all. That's why it's a match. So in the case of dynamic programming, what we do is essentially we break the problem into several smaller parts and then we see if there is a possibility of a common solution there. So on top of one solution, another solution builds up. And then finally, we reach our final solution. So in order to understand the dynamic programming approach for this problem, let's take an example. In the very first example, I haven't taken any special characters. These are just simple characters that we are going to test against each other. So the first step is to create this tabulation, a table for dynamic programming. In this table, we have the main string that is given here in the rows, and in the column we have the pattern that we are going to match it against. Right before this string, we have taken one empty string. So this is nothing but just an empty string. And over here is another empty string. So finally, this looks like a matrix, right? And we are going to test whether the pattern is matching against the given string or not. So every cell in this table has a special meaning. So let us understand what the meaning is. So if I'm here, let's say, this cell tells me the string until this point. So whatever the string is, until this point it is A. So A string is matching against the pattern until this row. So the pattern is AD. A matched against AD. It is the meaning of this cell. So the cell will tell us whether there is a match or not. So the value of this cell is going to be a Boolean type. Similarly, if we come to this particular cell, this is going to tell us whether ADC is a match for ADB, right? So we'll start from smallest and we'll go towards the biggest, from smallest to biggest. And this particular cell, which is the last cell of this matrix, is going to give us our answer. So let us start from the 0, 0 position. So what does it say? This is an empty string. This is an empty string. Is an empty string a match for an empty string? I would say yes. So let's say yes there. T for true. What about A? Is A a match for empty string? I don't think so. So we are going to write F. And similarly, for all the places, it is going to be an F only. False. Now what about this side? Is empty string a matched against A pattern? No. So it is going to be an F, 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 F for all of them. Now let us check A against A. Is it a match? Yes, it is a match. What about the previous string before A? That is empty string. That is also a match. So if this one is a match and both the characters are same, this is also going to be a match. So I would say T. What about D? D and A are not the same. So I would say F. Same is the case for C and A. F, 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 F. Now let us check whether A is a match for AD. A is not a match for AD because D and A are two different characters. So if they are different, then it cannot be a match, right? So I'm going to write F here. What about D, AD here and AD here? So the first way of checking it would be, we'll see whether D is a match for D. Yes, D is a match for D. Then we check whether the previous character of this pattern was a match for the previous character of this string, and that is A. So we see that it was a match, it was T. So we also write T here. Then what about C? No, it is not a match. It is not a match, not a match, not a match. Now we'll come to this point, B. A against B, it is not a match. D against B, not a match. C against B, not a match. B against B. So B is matched with B here, but what about the previous character to B? So the previous character to B is D. And what is the previous character of this B? Is C. C versus D? No, that is not a match. If it is false, that means this also cannot be a match. So I'm going to write F here as well. And then B against D, F, B against K, F. And now you will see, because this line, the whole line is F, and there are no special characters as well, we're going to write F all the way until the end. And so on. And then finally F here. And this cell gives us the answer. So this string is not a match for this string. This one is a pattern and this one is the original string that we wanted to match it against. And intuitively you can see ADC BDK is not a match for ADB BDK. If this B would have been C, then this was definitely this would have been a match. Let's take another example now. ADC BDK, the string remains the same, but pattern is slightly different. Now we are going to match it against this pattern where we have a question mark as well as another question mark. So two question marks we have here. From our previous discussion, we remember the first first value of this string as well as the pattern is going to be an empty string. So is an empty string match for an empty string? Yes. So we'll write T here. And then for rest of the values, it is going to be F. So it is F. Now we'll come to A. Is A a match for an empty string? No, it is not. So I'm going to write F. Then A is matched against A. So A is a match as well as the previous string to A, here. Pattern as well as the string is T. So because this was T and there is a match for A and A, I'm going to write T here. And then for rest of them, it is going to be F. Let's come to the next one, and this is going to be the first special character that we are dealing with. So question mark, if you remember, checks against just one character, right? So we are going to test if question mark is a match for an empty string. So it cannot be an empty string. It has to be at least one character. It could be any character, but it cannot be an empty string. So because it is a question mark and here it is an empty string, it is not a match. So I'm going to write F here. Then I'm going to test question mark against A. So yes, question mark would definitely match A, but what about the previous string? So previous string is going to be this one diagonally. And we have an F here because it was not a match. That's why this one can also not be a match. So I'm going to write F again. Then question mark would match against D. That's right. D is going to be a match. What about the previous string? So we'll check whether A is going to be a match for this A or not. And this was a match because this particular cell says T. So this is true, as well as D can stand for question mark. That is also true. So because both the conditions are true, I'm going to write true here. Then let's check it for C. C would be a match, but this is F here and this is F all the way. So I'm going to write F all the way. Now let's see what is the situation with C. So C would not be a match for an empty string. So I'll write F here. Then C against A, no, it is not a match. C against D, not a match. C against C, it is a match. And what about the previous string? T, that is also a match. So both the conditions are true. So I'm going to write T here. And then rest of them are going to be F again. So you will notice that in a similar way, we can write T here as well, and rest of them are going to be F, and then there would be a question mark here. Then finally, we are going to check question mark against D, and that would be a match. And then for the pattern until B and the string until B, that is also T. So both are T, that's why this would also be T, and then similarly this would also be T. So we have our answer. Rest of the values you should be filling it here, but we know that it is going to be T. So this is your second big example using dynamic programming. The third example we are going to take, we are going to use asterisk as well. So that is important, and you should make sure that you understand all the situations, all the conditions. So we start with this empty string and I'm going to write T. And what about rest of them? They're going to be F. Now, this is the first time you are seeing asterisk in dynamic programming here, right? So from the introduction section, you would remember that asterisk can stand for an empty string as well as any number of characters. So here asterisk is set against an empty string, and that is going to be a match, right? So we'll write T. What about asterisk against A? Yes, that's a match. So I'm going to write T. Then D, T. Then asterisk against C. So when we say C, what it is doing is that it is testing itself against C, and because that is a match, it sees what is there before. So before it is A and D, but because it is an asterisk and it can take as many characters in as possible, so it is going to act as A, D, C, all three of them. And when it takes all of them in, it says T. Similarly, it is going to be true for all the values. I hope you understand that what it means when we say T here. It means that A, D, C, B, D, K is a match for just star. And that is true. A, D, C, B, D, K would be a match for only and only asterisk. Now in this condition, we add A as well. So we need to check for A against empty list, empty character. No, it is not a match. So I'll write F. Then A against A. Yes, it is a match. If it is a match, then we go back to the previous character. And this is also T. If it is T, then we write T here. Then A against D, it is not a match. If it is not a match, we write F. A against C, not a match, F. A against B, not a match, F. F. And then finally F again. Now we get to use another asterisk and see what happens this time. So what would this one mean? Star A star, right? And this pattern is going to be tested against empty string. Now because there was a previous character and that is F, asterisk here can also not be true. And that is clear because A is not a match for empty string. So even if asterisk would have become empty character here, even in that case, A is still going to be there. So there is no way that this pattern can represent empty string. So I'm going to write F here. What about A? So for A, the asterisk can take the shape of A, or it can take shape of no character. So by being no character, then it would be the responsibility of this pattern to match against A, right? Because now asterisk is acting as no character at all. If this one is no character, then let us see if there is a match for A or not. And we see a T here. If it is a T, that means it is a match. If it is a match, I'll write T. So, well, we'll talk about it after this one. So asterisk against D, that could be a match, right? Because asterisk can match for any character or no character at all. So if it is an asterisk, what we do is we go to the row above and we check for all the possible values here. It is F, T and F. So if we find a T anywhere until this column, until the same column as where we are going to fill in the previous row, if there we find a T, then we write a T here. I hope you understood the reasoning for that. And the reasoning is as simple as the asterisk can take a shape of anything. It can take a shape of no character at all, right? So if there is no character, then what we do is we go to the previous row and then see if there was no value of asterisk taken, then it would be like checking AD against asterisk A only, right? And if we are doing that, then that's a match or not. If that is not a match, then we can take then asterisk can take the shape of D, only D. And if it is taking a shape of only D, then we are going to check A against asterisk A, and that is T. That's true. If that is true, then we can write t here as well. So this is t. Now let's go back to our table. So C is also going to be t with the same reasoning. In the previous row, we go and check whether there was a t value present or not. If there was, then we write a t, 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 and t. So there is a shortcut as well. Rather than checking all the columns in the previous row, what we could do is we could just go to the row above in the same column. If that column says t, as well as we check the previous column in the same row, if that says t. So if any of these two values is t, then we can write t here. So there is an OR relation between the previous row, same column, and the previous column, same row. Now let's come to B. B matched against empty string, no. So we write F. B against A, no. We write F. B against D, no. We write F. B against C, no. We write F. B against B, yes, it is a match. Now this one is a match. Then we go back to the previous string, that is the diagonally left top string, top cell, and that is T. Because this is T, we write a T here as well. Then we go and check B versus D, and that's an F. B versus K, that's an F. Now question mark. Question mark doesn't match against empty string, so we write F. Question mark against A, that is a match, but then we go back to the previous string and that is an F. So if that is an F, we write an F here. With the same reasoning, this is also going to be an F, F, F. What about this one? So question mark against D, that's a match. Let's go to the previous string, that's a T. Because that's a T and this one is a match, we are going to write T here as well. And then finally question mark against K, it is a match, but the previous string is F, so it is going to be an F. Now the final row. K is not a match for empty string, K is not a match for A, not a match, not a match, not a match, not a match. K against K, yes, that's a match. What about the previous string? A, D, C, B, D is a match for asterisk A, asterisk B, question mark. Because that is a match and K versus K is a match. That's why this is also going to be a match. And this cell contains our final answer. So we can say that for this particular string, this pattern can give us a true result. And that's how we are going to solve dynamic programming. Now that you have understood the whole algorithm of how we have built this table, I think it should be easy for us to convert this into code as well. Let us see how to do that. So just to remind you again, we are going to have a DP array, and the DP array is going to have p dot length plus 1 character, number of rows, and s dot length plus 1 number of columns. Why is that so? Because the first row and first column is reserved for empty string. Empty string, right? And then after that, this is number 1. So just an addition of this particular rule is going to be dp of 0 and 0 is going to be 1. True. So that is rule number 1. Rule number 2, then we'll take specific cases of asterisk, question mark, and the normal case, right? So let us see. This is our DP array. Something like this. And let's say that this is the current P character, current character from the pattern, and this is the current character from string, and we are here. And what we found is the current pattern is asterisk. If it is asterisk, then this is true by default. So we go back, which means asterisk is always going to match whatever there in the current character of S, right? So because that is the case, we go in this cell and then we go to this cell and we take an OR product of them. So that means we go to I minus 1 j, or we go to I j minus 1, and we do an OR between them. Let's say that we are in the very first column itself. So just to take a default value, we'll take a false. We'll take an OR with false as well. So that is the case of asterisk. What about question mark? So again, this is our DP array and we are here. So question mark by default always matches with any character if it is not an empty string. So except for the 0 case, except for the 0 row and 0 column case, it is going to match with any other character. So this is our P, this is our S, and this is question mark. So this is going to match with any character in S. So what happens? We go to the diagonally left top and we check what is the value that is stored there. Whatever the value is will be the value here as well, true or false. Now the normal case, where the character is not question mark, the character in pattern is not question mark, not asterisk, it is a normal character, then we simply check if both the characters match or not. So we are going to check if pattern character, if that is equal to string character or not. So if both are equal, then only we go to again the same case, the question mark stage, where we go diagonally to this column and this row and check what is the value stored there. If it is true, then it is true. If it is false, this is going to be false. And if in case in the very first check it is not true, then by default it is going to be false here. So these are all the cases that you needed to know, and with this knowledge we can go back to our coding board and start coding. So first of all, let me create a DP array. So let DP is equal to with p.length plus 1 rows and s.length plus 1 columns. So array from length is going to be p.length plus 1, and then we're going to put cells into it. So cells would also have they will be made from an array again, and that will be of length s.length plus 1, and we fill false by default there. Then dp of 0 is going to be true. Now we are in a good condition to start our for loop. So for loop starts from I is equal to 0, I should be less than p dot length plus 1, I plus plus, and then the same thing for j. So j is going to be s dot length plus 1, j plus plus. This makes sure that we are going through each cell of the DP array that we just created. And because 0 case is already handled, we need to continue when I is 0 and j is 0. So that case is handled. Now think about asterisk. So if the current pattern, so where is the current pattern stored? Current pattern is going to be stored in pi minus 1. And why it is I minus 1? Because we have taken p dot length plus 1 characters. So we always need to do I minus 1 because we are accommodating for the empty string that we have taken here. So pi minus 1, if that is equal to asterisk, that is our case, then what we need to do, we need to go up 1 row and left one column, and for both the cases we need to do an OR. So dp of I, dp of j is equal to dp of I minus 1 same column j, or dp of I same row but one column less. And in case if we are positioned at the very first column, so this false will take care of it. Second case where pi minus 1 is a question mark. So if it is a question mark, then what we would do, we would go to diagonally one cell up. So diagonally one cell up would be I minus 1, j minus 1, or false. False will take care of the corner cases as I just told you. And then in the end it is going to be, I forgot if, then it is going to be the last case where pi minus 1 is equal to si minus 1. So now this puts it in parity with the question mark case. So it is going to be exactly the same answer here. Actually, I could have merged these two conditions in just one, but I think it makes it just more clear. It makes it clearer. And else dpi and j is going to be false, but we have already taken care of this in the default case here as false. So now we have taken care of all the conditions. We only need to return the final cell from our dp array, and the final cell will be dp.length minus 1 dp0.length minus 1. That is our return value. That should be our answer as well. And there is some error, it seems. Unexpected. What is it? Line number 14. Probably I would have missed something. Okay, this looks fine to me. This is all right. Okay, there is something that okay, got it. This one. There is still a problem in line 18 this time. And what is the issue? Cannot read property 0 of undefined. Okay, so this had to be j minus 1 here. I think this is good. Yeah, let us submit it. It does. Thanks a lot for watching.